The following is the extract of a course linked in the description.
Hello guys, this is Krishna. Thank you for joining me on this new video. So this is gonna be the last one in the series that I was doing on sound synthesis. Um, and basically what we're gonna look at is gonna be the mini move. This is an emulation. It's basically the mini V3. That's the mini V, but it's actually the third version of it by Arturia. I love Arturia. I have their keyboards. I really love what they do. And this is basically a really famous synthesizer that's being used by many popular artists. If I come up here and I type something artists, yes, artists that use mini moogs, you're gonna see over here Arabian Cock, Miles Davis, but Michael Jackson as well have used it, and Dr. Dre as well. So there's many people that have been using that, and you're gonna see how what we were able to learn so far over all those other videos is going to help you with using something such as Minimoog, something that's been just legendary, right? And with that knowledge, like I say, you're going to be able to basically just go into any other plugins. You're gonna find your way. Sometimes they call things in a different manner, right? They call things differently. They're gonna have a different layout, but you're gonna be able to quickly find your way with what we just saw. So let's go ahead and start. So basically in this case, I'm just playing here. This is my keyboard over here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this preset here, and basically this is just gonna generate it's gonna generate sound from one oscillator, right? And it's gonna be this oscillator over here that we have, oscillator number one. Okay, so if I press it now, this is what we hear. Okay, and with that, basically we still have the range over here that just bring it really low, or we can have a little bit high as well. Okay, in this case over here we have the different waveforms. So you see over here we have different ones. If we turn it, so the way they call it here is narrow rectangular, wide rectangular, square, sawtooth, saw triangular, and triangular, right? So just different waveform that comes with the mini over here. One thing that is pretty neat, especially if we come, it works with all of them, but you're gonna see a little bit more with, let's see with the these forms over here. You're gonna see that if you pay attention, if you see the tip, the tooltip that is being shown over here, it says it is a square, but as well it shows you that there is a width of 0.48, so you can actually increase the width or reduce it depending on what sound you're looking for. So you're gonna see over here, and to increase it, so it's changing here. So it just makes the width of that rectangular form over here higher, or smaller, or larger, right? And it's gonna be the same thing as well for the sawtooth that we have here. Sorry, because I'm using my keyboard over here. It looks like for the sawtooth it's not moving. Okay, so for the sawtooth it seems like it's not changing, but we have it for the other ones. We're able to change it as well. Okay, so this is what you have, and the way you do it, usually you press either shift and up or down, or you press I'm doing it with pressing the right click and just basically going up or down as well, and it's gonna change the width along the way. Okay, so this is the oscillator that we have, but we're gonna see here it's called the mixer. But over here right now, all those other two oscillators that we have, they basically all at the volume is all to zero over here, but they also turn off at the moment. So right now this one is the only one working, and I can actually turn it all the way to zero and we don't hear it anymore, right? Or we can actually just totally turn it off as well, and right now nothing is working. Okay, so let's turn it on. Let's bring it a little bit up here, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring up the other oscillator. So let's go over here, oscillator number 2, and we're gonna bring a little bit of volume. Now you start to hear a little bit more. Right? And let's do the same as well for oscillator number 3. We're gonna turn it on, increase the volume of it. Okay, so this is what we have. So we have the different oscillators here with the range, the waveforms, and we have the mixer. Over here, oscillator number 2 and oscillator number 3, they have basically we can change the frequency of it, right? So either by changing, moving semitones, right, or stepping semitones, or we can do it with if we apply the same thing that we had there by right clicking and sliding. Basically, we can go a little bit more granular, and that is basically with cents. So it's basically uh, sense is basically what we have available from to go from one node over here, one semitone, but basically within that distance we have about 100 cents available there, and we're able to fine tune the settings over here. Okay, so let me just put it back to what we have over here. Again, this is the oscillators that we have. When we come over here to the mixer, we have the possibility to add an additional noise, right? So I need to turn it on over here, and now if you pay attention, I'm able to add a noise. And what I can do if I just want to generate the noise here, right? Now I'm able to hear it, right? And the noise, we have the possibility to have white noise and as well pink noise. Right, so I'm going to turn it off, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's move forward. So basically when we have the oscillators, usually the other modules you're gonna see as well are gonna be filters, envelopes, and effects, but as well you're gonna have the possibility sometimes to modulate some of the other parameters there with another oscillator as well. So let's start with the field with the envelope. Over here is called loudness contour, but that's the envelope. So we have the attack, the decay, and the sustain level here. The release usually is ADSR, so with the release, but the release it's actually basically they call it decay over here, and that's what they have for a release. But basically what we have over here that looks like what we saw or what we seen for the other plugins is available here. We have the attack, the decay, the sustain. So if we come up here, so right now the attack is all the way down. We can have the attack, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to reach the maximum. We can also we can also increase the decay. So once you reach the maximum, to go down to 0, to go down to the sustain level, is gonna take as well some time, right? And we can increase that time. So it's gonna take some time to go up and then go down. And if we want to keep it at a certain level, that's what we have over here. Okay, so actually let me go back again. So let me go back to number 1 over here, to the original sound that we had there. So this is the envelope that we have here, and over here we have the filter, right? And the filter also in this case over here, the filter is coming with its own envelope, right? Depending on the plugin that you're using, it could be that you just have one envelope, and the envelope is basically doing everything for the oscillator and as well for the filter. But sometimes you're gonna have an envelope just dedicated to the filter, an envelope just dedicated to oscillators, and then another, maybe a third envelope for something else, right? So in this case over here, you're gonna see that this is a cutoff. So basically with the cutoff over here, I'm let's say I'm being over here at 3000 hertz. Basically anything that is above 3000 hertz, we're cutting that off, right? So this is what we have, and right now we basically just in the base frequency, and anything above that we're basically cutting that off, right? The filter emphasis over here, this is sometimes called the resonance in some other plugins. Basically, it means that around the frequency that we have targeted here, we are allowing more frequency to pass through, right? So this is what we're basically getting over here. Okay, that's what we get. Okay, when we come up here, the amount of contour, again, if you see over here, contour is basically referring to the envelope, and that amount of contour over here that is talking about is going to be the attack, decay, and sustain that we have here for the filter, right? So I'm just going to turn that up a little bit, and then we're going to say that we're going to increase. So if you pay a little bit of attention, you're going to see it takes a little bit more time for that filter to come up, right? So if I press it here, right, and if I increase it here, you hear a little bit of filter to come up, right? Same thing now if I increase, oh, the decay was already up, but it could be that we don't want, so it's gonna go up and then it's gonna disappear, right? Or if we want to have a sustain over here, or we can have it that. If we don't want the envelope to be included, we have the contour at 0, or we can increase it. So this is what we have. So again, oscillators, filters, envelopes, that will be most of the basic there for most of the synthesizer, right? The other thing that you have, let me just go through some of the things over here that you're gonna have. We have some unison over here, and with the unison, actually, let me. Okay, so the unison basically makes it like you have several voices all together in one sound. So this is what we're getting over here, and we can also increase the number of voices that we're able to play through just with one note. All right, and the same thing as well, because we have the unison, we can also have a little bit of a detune there, right? So this is what we have with a little bit of detune there to provide a little bit more character to the sound. Okay, the 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 MiniV was designed to be a um, monophonic instrument. So basically, you cannot really play two by default. You cannot really play two notes at the same time. It's always, you see over here, if you pay attention, I cannot hear that one, right? So it's always one note that you were hearing, that you hear at the time. But if you come up here and you turn that polyphonic, now you're gonna be able to hear all those notes all playing all at the same time. Okay. So the last thing that I'm gonna, a couple things I'm gonna show you. We're gonna look at modulation, how you can modulate, how modulation is working with the MiniV, and as well just where are some of the effects that I found here on the on the MiniV. So the way the modulation was done in the original MiniV was with the oscillator number 3 over here. With oscillator number 3, what happened was, let me again go back to, so over here I have the original sound, right? And over here, if you see, we have oscillator modulation, and actually let me increase this a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna see over here we have oscillator modulation that is on, and what that allows us to do is we're able to use oscillator number 3 over here to modulate oscillator 1, right? And the way we do that, we need to turn on the mod wheel over here, and what you're gonna find now I don't know if you're able to hear, but you're gonna find some vibration. It's just like over here he was playing as well, he was acting as well, but just because it was like really quick, you could not really hear it too much. But when we come over here to low, now you're able to hear a little bit more, right? So basically, in this case over here, we need to have the oscillator number 3 off, right? So we don't want to hear the sound coming out of oscillator number 2. We just want to use oscillator number 3 to modulate our first oscillator here, right? And the same thing, we can use oscillator number 3 as well to modulate the filter that we have here. So I'm going to turn that. So right now I did turn it off, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this on. So now you're able to hear a little bit more of that modulation being applied on the filter over here. Okay, so let's go a little bit more. So let me reset this. I'm just going again just with the one oscillator here. What you're gonna find with the Mini V, it has an advanced button over here that provides us with additional option over here. So maybe we don't want to use the oscillator number 3 as our LFO, right, to modulate oscillator number 1. We actually want to use this to be able to generate some sound as well. What we're able to do is come up here and actually set up an LFO over here, and we can say we can basically later on direct the LFO to a specific parameter, right? So the way we do that is over here. So I just I selected the sine wave. Okay, over here we're gonna select the rate. So basically, if we want the modulation to be faster or slower, and over here, depending on where you're using that, most of the time is gonna sync it with the software that you're using. So depending on the tempo, if we're opening that in FL Studio, the tempo of the project, it will sync it there. So when I have it ready, I'm just gonna come here to modulation. From here I have several sources that I can select, right? But in this case over here, right, I'm gonna go with LFO, right? And over here I'm gonna say what I want to modulate in my case. So let's say I want to modulate a cutoff over here, and what's going to happen, I need to increase that amount. Right, so basically this is what we have over here. We have the LFO, and we can say where the LFO is going to be assigned. So we can also have it. So we have about 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We have like um, 7 ways of doing that, of making that assignment. So let's go ahead. Maybe we want to say we want to again use the LFO, and maybe we're going to assign the LFO as well to the resonance over here, or the way they call it over here, the emphasis. Let's go ahead. Right, so this is the way we're able to do that. And the last thing that I want to cover with you is most of the time as well, just the effects that you're gonna find and some plugins here and there, right? So in this case with the Mini V, we have the chorus that we're able to add, right? So the dry wedge is just how much of it is you have the original sound and how much of a chorus you want to have. If we want, go all the way here, right? And as well for the delay, you have it here, right? So this is what you have. So I hope what we just covered over the last few videos have really really helped you with learning the fundamentals of sound design, sound synthesis. You should be good opening any plugin and tweaking a few things and finding your way. Um, I would say if you're buying a new plugin, you should be good, but trying to find out maybe if the plugin that comes has some documentation, or you could also go on YouTube and do some research to see how some people, other people use it, right? One thing that I like about Arturia is they have, let me bring this a little bit, they actually have some tutorials as well that comes with some other plugins. So this is something where you could go in, take a look at it, get a little bit more acquainted, and that's basically going to help you as well to get to know a little bit more the instrument. The more you know it, if it's an instrument that you're using a lot, you're going to be able to tweak um, those sounds really quickly. You're going to be able to modify and make it yours. So maybe if you find that something is not working too well, you can change some things and make it work for you. So that's what I had for you. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But I hope this helped you. Guys, if you enjoy the content, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I also wanted to let you know about my free mastering mini course that's going to be available there in the description. You're also going to get with that free banger drums kit, right, with some crazy samples. Basically, you're going to be able to make some crazy drum patterns. Okay, so the link is going to be in the description. It's going to let you know how you're going to have access to it, and I will talk to you in another video.